Well, it's been a remarkable night to watch all of the sort of hand-wringing from Fox News and other Israel First news outlets as to how in the world did a Muslim become the next mayor of New York City? Why did so many New York Jews vote for a Muslim socialist, Zohran Mamdami, and not vote for a grandma killer, Andrew Cuomo? It's an interesting question. Almost 70% of young New York City Jews voted for a Muslim mayor who vowed to divest from Israel instead of focusing on New York City. Mamdami literally said he was concerned about Israel. He wasn't concerned about Israel. He's concerned about New York. Watch.
Mayor Adams just signed this deal between New York City and Israel to launch this New York City-Israel Economic Council to strengthen economic ties between the two. Would you consider that council? Would you continue it?
I think that what we need is a mayor who is squarely focused on the affairs of New York City.
He's looking for an economic tie here. So you're saying that it's a no. You would not consider it. Politics aside of what Eric Adams is trying to do, is it a good idea to have this partnership with Israel for the economic ties?
That's not something that I would pursue.
Okay.
Overall, a third of New York City Jews voted for a Muslim who's not really interested in Israel at all. According to the exit polling, older Jews voted for Cuomo, who's cozy with Netanyahu, of course. Mamdami, by the way, who is cozy with the Soros family. So I guess pick your poison, really. So in the end, it was the Jewish vote that really carried Mamdami into office. Remember during the New York City mayor's debate, as reporter Glenn Greenwald reminded me, one of the most interesting moments came when all of the candidates were asked which country they would visit first when they became mayor of New York City. What other country will you go to after you become mayor of New York City? And the only one who said, I'm not going anywhere, I'm going to stay here in New York, was Mamdami. Watch.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my fourth trip to Israel, followed by my fifth trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not
say it has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer
that.
was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
He literally said that right at the beginning. No, I won't go to Israel. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay right here at home. But anyway, nevertheless. So Patriotic Blonde put up this poll a short time ago. Why do you think the Republicans lost so badly last night? Overwhelming response from those polls. I mean, normally you get a poll of about 1,000 people. This has almost 4,000 people. Israel first policies was the answer. Thomas Massey, Congressman Thomas Massey, posted this: to avoid a repeat of last night's shellacking in the 2026 midterms, Republicans should quit covering for pedophiles, put America before Israel, put farmers before corporations, quit funding wars abroad, reduce spending to control inflation, and quit attacking independent voices.
I thought that was the platform that they ran on in 2024. If I'm recalling correctly, I was here. I go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So joining us to discuss this pendulum switch or something, we're going to see what we think it is collectively, is Dan McAdams.
Dan, great to see you.
Hello. Good to see you guys again.
All right. So what do you make of this this election right now? And do you agree that Republicans are pissed and they see that they have not been given the wishes that they voted for in 2024?
Well, I swear when you ran that last clip, I thought it was that famous Saturday Night Live.
I thought so too.
Clip that didn't run. I literally thought that's what it was. And I mean, it's very clear. Mamdani said something different. Everyone else said the exact same thing. This isn't rocket science. Here's someone who's different. Now, all the things that they say about him, and even all the things that I think a lot of voters who are concerned about our Middle East policy, or maybe pro-Muslim voters, are about to be disappointed. I'm just like the Palestinians were when they celebrated the election of Obama, who proceeded to bomb them for 8 years. So all of the crazy stuff about him is I'm sure is way exaggerated. I'm sure he's going to do some stupid things. That's what they do in politics. But I think it does absolutely. It's a thermometer. It's a barometer of the shifting tone, the shifting level of interest in the American people on this administration's policies, and it's reflected in recent polls. A poll came out, a CNN poll that they've been doing every month, came out I think 2 days ago, yesterday. It showed the lowest support for president, lowest approval rate. I think it was 37%. The last one in July was 41%. But here's something important, guys. When they looked at the 18 to 29, it was down to 27%. That's an 11-point drop from February. So clearly President Trump had a lot of support from young people early on. The things that he was saying, the Doge, the focusing on the economy. And what did they get for it? They got Lindsey Graham and they got Marco Rubio. And they're saying, that's it. We're sick of it. We don't want it anymore.
You've heard of Big Pharma, but have you heard of Big Ag? Do you know that 85% of meat is controlled by just 4 major companies? Most pork comes from China. And just because you buy American doesn't mean you're buying healthy. Buying organic only means they control what the cattle eat, not how they live. But Backyard Butchers, Texas steer steaks come directly from a real Texas ranch where cattle are raised, processed, shipped from the same location, completely bypassing Big Ag. These Texas steers are 98% grass-fed, 2% natural grain finished, with no growth hormones, no antibiotics, no preservatives. The quality and flavor are off the charts exceptional. Absolutely delicious. Making America healthy again starts with going back to our roots, eating real meat from hardworking ranchers who raise cattle correctly and right in the United States of America. So go to backyardbutchers.com/redacted. Enter the promo code redacted for up to 30% off. Plus, you get 2 free 10-ounce ribeyes and free shipping when you subscribe. We made some ribeyes from there the other night. They were absolutely delicious. And then I had enough left over that I made it in our steak and eggs and breakfast the next morning.
It was very exciting.
It was very delicious. A little garlic, a little butter. Oh, so good. Fight back against Big Ag with your fork. Support American ranchers. Support Texas. Go to backyardbutchers.com/redacted and put in that promo code redacted to get 30% off. Plus, you'll get 2 free ribeyes, 2 free 10-ounce ribeyes, and free shipping when you subscribe. So our thanks to them. I thought particularly the young people vote here, Dan, was really unbelievable. So among young people, I mean, they overwhelmingly voted for him. They overwhelmingly voted for Mamdami. And they also, the young Jewish vote, like I said, 70% of Jews, young Jews, voted for Mamdami. And I just want to play this for you. This is a group of Orthodox Jews, and they were there saying exactly, because people are like, why would Jews vote for Mamdami? They answered it. They said exactly why they were voting. Well, listen.
My name is Rabbi David Feldman. I'm with Neturei Karta International. We are standing here on the steps of New York City, City Hall. And we are here while we are unfortunately seeing this terrible intimidation against candidate for mayor here in the city, Mr. Mamdani. And this is disturbing to so many Jewish people. This harassment and these intimidations is about his brave stance to speaking up to what he believes is right, and he is speaking up against the crimes being committed to the Palestinian people. Now, they are condemning him as anti-Semitic because he is against the state of Israel. This is misleading, this is unjust, and this is dangerous. We need politicians to be on the right side of history and to speak up for the oppressed. We as New Yorkers, we as citizens of the United States, we should admire brave politicians, and we should give them the freedom to express what they believe is right. And we encourage people, voters, to vote what is in the interest of our city and not in the interest of a foreign country, the state of Israel, and certainly not in the interest of crimes being committed the other side of the world. Wow. We as Jewish people say.
So, Dan, I mean, people are like, well, a lot of hand wringing, like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Well, they just said it.
It's a racist question. Again, like, why do black people vote Republican? I reject it, but let's discuss it anyway.
Yeah, it's a great group. They supported Dr. Paul's presidential campaigns. The same group, and they're written off as, oh, they're crazy. They're a bunch of crazies. Well, look what President Trump said on the eve of the election. Any Jews in New York who vote for him are idiots. I mean, that's not very smart. That's not a very smart way of doing things. And what did the young Jews say? They said, okay, you call us idiots, we're going to be idiots. We're going to vote for Mamdani. Now, I don't think he's as anti-Israel as our rabbi friend would say, would have claimed. We did see that picture of him with Alex Soros. So I don't think he's in any way anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic. But nevertheless, this is reflected. America has seen for the past couple of years, intensifying this year under the Trump administration, a real genocide live streamed. And now when the temporary ceasefire has taken place, we've seen even more video from inside of Gaza, and we've seen what's happened in America. And thankfully, the American right and the American Christian right, to a larger degree than ever in the past, have said enough is enough. Now, they may want to protect Christians more in the area. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, while we're seeing Christians persecuted in places like Gaza, we're seeing President Trump meeting with Jolani, the head of Al-Qaeda in Syria, who's now the self-appointed president of Syria, a guy who personally, when he became self-appointed president, the first thing he did was start killing a bunch of Christians. So people aren't stupid. They see what's going on.
But part of me feels like that's cute, your first time being disappointed by your vote, like so many of us have been for decades. So how long until we learn that, the party that you have hope for is going to let you down? You may then go to the other party. They're going to let you down. Something that, who was it? Scott Horton recently said, partisan politics demeans us all. What do we do now? I mean, are we going to let our kids go through this flip-flop like we have?
Well, it's a tough decision. I made the decision many years ago, back in 2002, that I wouldn't vote anymore, and I stopped voting then. So my solution to the problem that you very, very adeptly explain is that I'm out. I'm not going to play Tweedledee and Tweedledum anymore. And there was a theoretical at the time that I may vote again. In fact, when RFK announced, and I started seeing some of the things he was saying from the beginning about with the COVID, I thought he was going to be good, but then he imploded on foreign policy, and I said, "Ooh, I don't have to vote now. I can keep my record up." But the last person I voted for was Jim Webb in Virginia, a Democrat, a blue-collar Democrat, conservative from Virginia, who unfortunately didn't win. Who was a great person, in my opinion. It's the game is over, I think, and I just don't see. You're going to get let down, like you say.
Yeah.
I look at J.D. Vance. There's this rift. You see, like Laura Loomer out there, and she was saying, you've got to distance yourself, J.D. Vance. You've got to distance yourself from Tucker Carlson. Otherwise, you're not going to win the 2028 election. And then many others saying, no. And the position I have is that if J.D. Vance really wants to win, maybe in a landslide, it's to disavow all of this foreign money in our government and to take a stand. Because you'd have hundreds of millions of Americans who would would be like, I'm going to vote for this guy finally. They would come out of the woodwork. The 100 million Americans that don't vote because they're so disillusioned by the uniparty, they would say, wait a minute, they're actually going to take a stand against this? Where do you come down on that? I mean, the J.D. Vance question, the sort of rift right now, you got to disavow these Tucker Carlsons.
Yeah, I don't trust him. I wouldn't believe J.D. Vance. He's on the team right now, and he put out kind of a desperate post on X today saying, listen, guys, here's what we need to do. It's not convincing anymore. I'll tell you what would make me jump out of my seat and re-register and vote, and that'd be if Thomas Massie ran. I would do it in a second. And I think a lot of America would, because a lot of America understands here's a guy who's not motivated by hate. He's not motivated by prejudice. He's not in it for the money. He's got plenty of money. He's not in it because he loves D.C., because he hates D.C. He's in it because he loves America. And that would get a lot of people. And that may not be enough because he would have the entirety of the media against him on the left and the right, and they would all call him all sorts of names. But people like us who are disgusted, they would be likely to vote for someone who is going to tell the truth. He's always told the truth. The entire time he's been in office, he's told the truth.
Yeah.
And President Trump is going to campaign against him and campaign for Lindsey Graham. So that tells you everything you know. People are sick of President Trump doing boneheaded things. We've had enough of it.
Yeah.
What do you make of Democrats who might be taking a victory lap? What is their policy? Because Democrats still have a high unfavorability rating. I think they just sort of caught the fruit that was fallen from the tree. No one seems to be riled up about what Democrats' platform is because we don't know what the hell it is.
It's free stuff.
Yeah, no, they don't have a platform, and they don't care that they don't have a platform, because what will make all the difference in the midterms is not what the Democrats offer. It's going to be people who were motivated by Trump, people who hadn't voted in a while, young people who hadn't voted at all and they don't vote, minorities who voted in record numbers for President Trump. These are the people who are going to be, okay, we trusted it again. We tried to kick the football game. We landed up on our ass, so we're going to go home. We're not going to go out. That's going to be the difference this time. There was a very small, relatively small group of the electorate who got President Trump elected. They wanted Doge, and what did they get? The middle finger. They wanted no foreign wars. What did they get? We're going to invade Venezuela, for God's sake. Why? Nobody knows. Maybe even Colombia. We're blowing up boats in the water. We don't know who's in them, and nobody seems to care. That's what we're getting. We're getting President Trump, who stands up in front of the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, and says, I've got donors who tell me what they want, and they want me to do stuff for Israel, and I'm happy to do it, and I don't care. Screw America. People aren't stupid.
Yeah. Clayton spoke to a group of young people this morning who had a more conservative bent, and they were enthusiastic about politics. And I think to myself, they can do it when you see this enthusiastic crowd, and they understand foreign influence. They understand the need for small g government. What's going to stop them? Because the people in power, the deep state, will try to manipulate them from the dream that was Rome, to borrow from Gladiator.
Well, the problem is, if Ron Paul was here in the room with us right now, and others would say it's because government is too big. It does too much. And when it's sitting there hanging out in front of you, you're going to start playing with the levers of it. You're going to want to try the ring on. You want to try it on. Hey, I can use it for good. Just let me try it on. That's what the problem is. The problem is the ring itself.
Oh, that's so powerful. It really is. It is like Lord of the Rings. Don't put it on. Don't put it on. We could all learn something from George Washington, who, made sure that really led us down that road of saying, don't try it on. Don't put it on. That's not why we're here as a nation. We need to get back to that. That's actually part of what I talked about this morning, actually, with these young conservatives. So, Dan, great to see you. Thank you so much for this. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch in this as we approach the full-on midterms here, how this will all play out and where the money will settle and how, what sort of hand-wringing is going to happen and post-mortem will happen in the lead up to that. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Dan, as always, thank you so much. We know we had all sorts of shit show of technical issues today. Thank you for suffering through it with us. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It's great to see you always.